good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Reganelite here with One Angry Pagan for another Eco Flake show. Pagan, how are you doing, my friend?
All good. Dealing with old laptop. So this is that. If you guys can't hear me so well, I'm on the phone. I hope you can hear me.
Yeah, he's tried to turn up the volume as much as he can. So do mention it in the chat. So you'll keep an eye on the chat and try to adjust his volume as best as you possibly can. That's why my volume's a little bit more higher than usual as well, just to kind of help with that as well. There's a couple of things before we get into the news today. So for those who don't know what this show is about, so myself and One Angry Pagan, we talk about all sorts of things related around the environment, climate change, eco-friendly, all that kind of stuff, guys. That's really the topics that we really tend this live stream about, and we do this once a month. And some of you might be saying, Regan, didn't you say about a new intro? Yeah, I did. I did have a new intro, and it's ready to go. The problem is StreamYard wants me to pay for it for me to use it, guys. And they're extremely expensive, StreamYard. Even just for 1 month, I think it's like $36. That's the cheapest deal, which is, yeah, just for 1 month. And I may be forced to bite the bullet because I actually have a wrestling live stream as well as the roundtable next month, because you're only limited a certain amount of time on live streams. So, yeah, I might have to bite the bullet next week, for it, unfortunately, which is incredibly annoying. So, yeah, I've got a nice fancy intro that I cannot share with you guys because StreamYard wants me to pay for it. So, yeah, unfortunately for that. Other news, I know Ellie was asking about yesterday, earlier today on Dave McGinnis's live stream. So, yes, I did get, you can see it there, it's still recovering, it's going to take a while. So, yes, I did donate blood, and yes, I donated literally a full bag this time, guys. So as I said earlier this morning, 3 months ago, it was only like a quarter. So, and it was quite a hefty bag of blood I gave. I wish I had taken a picture of it to share with you guys. I had to stay in my chair for an extra 10 minutes after they took the needle out because I was feeling a bit of a chill. I didn't feel like fainting, but it was like this was a new feeling for me because I've never felt anything like it before. Like, that's a lot of blood that's been taken out of me. So they kept me in the chair for a good 10 minutes before they brought me over to drinks and snacks for me to dive in, and before I headed home, rest for a bit longer as well. So, yeah, I'm just like, so this is also why I said to Pagan, I said, I'm going to be a little bit tired and whatnot. I haven't slept or anything, guys, but I actually, funnily enough, did record 4 short videos for the week for ahead of time as well. But yeah, I'm a little bit dozy and off and all that kind of stuff, guys. But I am drinking plenty and all that stuff. So yeah, very, very happy about that I got to finally donate a good load of blood, and hopefully it will make a difference to people's lives. There was something else that they were offering me to sign up for as well while I was there. I can't remember what it was, but I'll have a look at it later on at another point as well. But just saying hello to Jow, one of our moderators there, Dave McGinnis as well. Good to see him there. I hope you're doing well. Pete's Music, Torchwood, Saz is there as well, and anybody else who may be lurking in the chats. So let's get started, guys, because I want to try. I can't remember which way to do this. Yes, is it this one? Yes, it is that one. So first one we've got here for you guys is from The Guardian here. The headline, go away, ad, is missing the 1.5 degrees climate target is a moral failure. The UN chief tells the COP30 summit. UN Secretary General Antonio urges open session in Brazil to bring about a paradigm shift. Is this climate summit making a difference, Pagan?
I don't know. See, I don't know, because I don't want to say no because there are still plenty going. And I mean, unlike when Rishi Sunak decided not to go, Starmer has gone. Not only that, but several other people have gone from the UK. I think there was what was it, West Yorkshire Mayor or something went. So I know on some levels, I think it looked. All in all, yes, I think it's good. I think we need to carry on with this, not just not just this, but COP15 as well for biodiversity. So I do. No matter how much trouble the COP30 gets, it's the same with COP15. We need to keep doing it.
Yeah, because it does feel like it's being it does feel like to a certain extent it is being played down a little bit, but it's still an event and it's still talking about the climate, and I think credit where credit's due for Keir Starmer for going as well. He could have said no to it, and I think it shows that he does care about the climate. Because I think if he and Labour didn't really, I don't think they would have sent anyone, and I think they would have been on the same page as the Conservatives. It still shocks me that Rishi Sunak didn't attend, but because of other previous Conservatives have prime ministers have in the past, and it was really quite a downer from that. But it does obviously still shine a spotlight on climate, which we need to continue to shine a spotlight on, because if we don't, things are only going to get worse. And there's plenty of examples of things getting worse, like Hurricane Melissa, which we'll touch on later on, for example. That was really, really not good. So let me read a couple bits into it, guys. So the failure to limit global heating to 1.5 degrees Celsius is a moral failure and deadly negligence, the UN Secretary General said at the opening session of the COP30 climate summit in the Brazilian city of Belém. Belém. I think I said it. Yeah, almost got it.
The accent looks like it's Belém.
Belém. Well, as long as I'm not offending, but I'm always going to end up offending somehow. Antonio Guterres said even a temporary overshoot would have dramatic consequences, and it could push ecosystems past catastrophic tipping points, expose billions to unlivable conditions, and amplify threats to peace and security. Speaking to heads of states from more than 30 countries, is it only more than 30 countries? It's a lot of countries that didn't attend.
Yeah, that's good. Well, not only that, though, I will say there are a lot of countries where dictators are taking over, or military coups are taking over, and they're not bothered either.
No, to be fair, yeah. Guterres called the target of limiting global heating to 1.5 degrees, but above pre-industrial levels, a red line for a habitable planet, and urged his audience to bring about a paradigm shift so that the effects of the overshoot could be minimized. Every fraction of degree means more hunger, displacement, and loss, especially for those least responsible, and this is a moral failure and deadly negligence, he said. And today, on Thursday, the World Meteorological Organization confirmed that greenhouse gas emissions, which are heating the planet, have risen to a record high. And it said 2025 was on track to be the second or third warmest year ever recorded. All of the 10 hottest years in measured history have been in the past decade. And you know what? Actually, I may not have spent too much time looking at the world's weather when I cover the weather on Good Morning, but even I've been noticing, like this month, we're only 6 days in, and there are days where it's like 15 degrees in London. That should not be happening in bloody November. It should be much, much colder.
The first day of winter, the first full moon of winter was yesterday. And right now it's 12 degrees. You'd have thought it'd be like at least 2, maybe 3 degrees. Because colder, but it isn't.
Yeah, there's only been 1 or 2 nights where it's been really chilly, like 7 degrees or whatnot. There has been 1 or 2 of those nights, but most nights it's been pretty comfortable where you can get away with not putting on the heating here. And I haven't seen, when I was covering the weather, I didn't notice like that it's that like if you really do you like doesn't come across to me like do you really need to put on. There was actually one point there was like where the temperature was much colder in the north of Scotland, like really quite a divide in terms of temperature there. I thought that was quite interesting as well. But yeah, it's problematic for sure. And Mrs. Skiams says, I've definitely noticed it's warmer. Yeah, I mean, even today, like the days of, I'll just give a prime example. I know I'm going off topic, guys, but like even today, I put on my puff jacket and jumper, not even thinking about how warm it was outside. And I had to take off the jumper halfway walking to the centre where to get blood because it was so bloody hot. But even with the puff jacket and just a shirt on under, I was still quite hot. And inside the building, obviously, I took the jacket off. But my God, it was just like I was feeling it. And it's ridiculous to be feeling that. You could probably get away with shorts, yeah, in the weather, to be fair here.
I've been taking the dog out at like 12 midnight to like 3 o'clock in the morning. When I come back, I'm sweating. Like, no, I get that because, you know, I exercise, but like, I'm sweating like it's still September. And I'm taking the dog out for a night walk. It's ridiculous. However, was it last week? I think last week we had a few days where it did drop down, so I could tell winter was coming.
Yeah, we had a few, but at the moment it's gone back up. But I don't know how the next week weather's going to be. But Monday is still nothing to drop too cold yet. But I'm kind of feeling that probably late December, January is when it's going to be really, really cold. There'll be a real period where it might be even more colder than possibly then, rather than a bit of it being cold now. I'm assuming that's what's going to happen, but we'll have to wait and see, guys. Couture says there has been some progress, but it was not fast enough. And many countries have put forward more ambitious plans to cut emissions. If they were fully implemented, he said that the world would be on the pathway to about 2.3 degrees of global warming. This forecast leaves the planet in dangerous territory, but is considerably better than seemed possible 20 years ago. Yeah, we do have to stress this, that while we are still well off the targets, progress has been made, and we touched on this last year about that. It's really important to understand that we have made progress as a species in helping slow down the increase in temperatures, because if we weren't making the changes that we were making, things would be a lot worse right now. I think it's fair to say that.
The more we do, the more things will improve. Like as it is right now, yes, not enough is happening, but stuff is still happening, and the more and more we do, the more and more effect we'll have. I mean, the next story, but like, not it's done. Like, this is a death sentence.
Pagan, I don't know if you can hear me, but you're cutting out.
Oh,
I couldn't hear anything that you said there because it was cutting out. I don't know about if the rest of the chat could hear you there, but it was.
Can you hear me now? Am I all good?
Yeah, but it was proper like blurry for me. I didn't hear anything you said, I'm afraid. Just so you have to repeat it again. Sorry.
The more and more we do, more and more effect we'll have. Yes, at the moment, we don't have enough. It's not enough, but more and more keeps happening. And as I will probably, I'll go into this more in the next couple of stories. As one of the next stories, but stuff is happening. I will argue with people saying that nothing's happening to combat this. There is plenty of there are plenty of nations around the world. I mean, China, for example. Yes, they're still using fossil fuels massively, but they're setting up their green transition. They're actually spending billions on setting the infrastructure up to transition. So, I mean, I think the big problem really is America. Like Trump, I think is the big problem here.
Yeah.
Like he and again, as I said earlier, a lot of the countries that didn't go probably have dictators or military coups that are in charge. So they won't go anyway.
Yeah, we heard all that this time because others couldn't hear you the first time, but we heard that this time, guys. I'll let you know if it cuts out or whatnot. Thanks guys for just saying. This is largely thanks to international support for the 2015 Paris Agreement and a clean energy revolution that is gathering pace. But several powerful countries are stepping away from the climate action as a far-right nationalism takes hold, particularly the United States. And that is the oil, and a lot of that, of course, is oil and gas, the oil, gas, fossil fuel industries, all of them throwing their money behind these far-right nationalisms because obviously they want to maintain the status quo, but they don't realize that we can't maintain the status quo and we have to change. And yes, we all agree it's going to take a time to transition out of those energies, but it's something that is inevitable that is going to come.
Right? It's not only that. I mean, these idiots keep piling their money into these oil and gas projects. No, we need oil and gas. Well, it's going to run out. What are you going to do then? How are you going to make yourself rich then, you fucking bastards?
Yeah, but it's still going to be. Unfortunately, we keep finding deposits, don't they? That's the scary thing as well. Like they want to.
And not only that, but again, like the trend. I think it's said there. The trend is going in the right way. It's not reverse. The trend isn't actually reversing. It's just slowing down a little bit as we hit speed bump, and we knew we were going to hit speed bumps on this process.
Yeah. Guterres said the oil, gas, and coal industries were holding back change. In his fiercest criticism, yet he said these companies command vast subsidies and political support and use them to the detriment of everyone else. He said too many corporations are making record profits. From climate devastation with billions spent on lobbying, deceiving the public, and obstructing progress. Yep, this is all true. The summit and next week's COP30 will take place in turbulent times. Much of the world is distracted by war, and the US is leading an attack on efforts to build international collaboration to deal with shared global problems.
Trump's against internationalism, so this is really surprising.
Vice Premier of China, Ding. I'm just going to say Ding without because I can't say
Ding Zhujiang.
Ding Zhujiang, the Vice Premier of China, made a thinly veiled reference to Trump's tariffs, saying the green energy transition depended on a free flow of green technology and the removal of trade barriers, which Donald Trump wants to do the opposite of, wants to bring up barriers rather than open free trade. He says China is a country that honors its commitments, it said, knowing that his country, which is the world's biggest carbon emitter, has set a goal for the next 5 years to peak its carbon use and reinforce ecological security goals. See, there are obviously, when it comes to climate, like even China and its scientists are telling their government what is going on and that we need to do this, even if we're not on the same page as other countries. Then that's why they've been doing what they're doing, because they understand that we need to try and stop what's happening to our planet. So they do understand that.
At the very least, they know that we have to try and alleviate and mitigate the problems of climate change, and even if we can't reverse it. Gasgio
Petro, the president. Yeah, Gasco Pedro, I think I probably didn't say that right. The president of Colombia has Gustavo Pedro has particularly harsh words for the absent science-denying US president, saying Mr. Trump is literally against humankind. He said, "We can see the collapse. We will see the collapse that will happen if the US does not decarbonize its economy." He is 100% wrong. Quote, "This is a real apocalypse," he said, in addition to Trump laid much of the blame at the feet of the petroleum industry lobbyists at the COP system. They are going against life. This is immoral. This is not human. And as a result, he said, the world has lurched from climate change to climate crisis and now face climate collapse. Many countries have already been hit by climate disasters. The UK's Prince William noted the world is moving perilously close to tipping points in the natural systems, ocean currents, rainforests, and ice caps. All that life depends on. Among the solutions, he said, was the need to acknowledge that indigenous people were climate leaders, and to give them legal reconciliation to their land. Mm-hmm. Countries in the global south want the industrialized global north to provide support to adapt even more extreme weather and help them with energy transition. But financial commitments have so far fallen far short of the $1.3 trillion a year that was agreed in COP29 in Baku. Guterres said developed countries must lay out a clear path to that goal. Keir Starmer told this. Go on.
There's a problem. I can understand why quite a few countries who are wanting to do this will have issue trying to fulfill that goal, because look at the issues we've got going on right now. Like for European countries, Ukraine is the biggest. Like we cannot let Ukraine fall. So there's amongst the other many problems, and I'm just talking from a Europe position. Let's not even talk about Asia, Africa, either of the Americas, Australasia, or Oceania,
and all the wars are causing it as well, because of all the bombs and the devastation. Not just
I can see why they're having problems trying to get to that 1 point. That what was it? The 1.3 trillion a year. I can see why they're struggling.
Yeah. Keir Starmer told the summit that the UK was all in on tackling the climate change crisis because it was a win-win for people, and the economy would reduce bills, create jobs, and would be worth £1 trillion to the UK in 5 years.
That's the message.
He says 10 years. Yeah.
That's what we need.
He said 10 years ago, the world came together in Paris, united in our determination to tackle the climate crisis, a consensus that was based on science that is unequivocal. And this unity was not just international, it was there within most of our countries. There was a cross-party consensus to the United Kingdom. The only question was how fast we could go. Today, sadly, that consensus is gone. The Prime Minister, who took a veiled aim at prominent figures, including Bill Gates and Tony Blair, who have urged a slowdown on climate action in a robust rebuttal to that attitude. And that's because both of them have been I'm 90% sure they've been paid by the lobbyists to say that. Mm-hmm. You know, that's why they're saying it. He said, with some arguing this isn't the time to act. Well, when is the time to? When is it ever the time? If not now, when? It's just your solution is to kick the can down the road, and you can only kick the can so far down the road. Eventually, you won't be able to kick it down the road, and it's going to come in your face whether you like it or not. So, you might as well deal with it now instead of keep trying to kick it away and hopefully it doesn't come back, because it will. And saying tackling climate change can wait. My question is this: can energy security wait too? Can bill payers wait? Can we win the race for green jobs and investment by going slow? Of course not.
This is the messaging that's needed. I have reasons to be pissed. We've all got reasons to be pissed at Sir Keir Starmer, right? Completely valid reasons. This is not one of them. This is perfect messaging. This is brilliant.
Yeah, it's just a shame that I like I said, like apart from the Middle East and how he's handling that, he is very good on the international stage. But yeah, he's just not popular at the time because of some of the policies and whatnot. But anyway, that's a topic for another day. But yeah, apart from what's happening in the Middle East, yeah, I mean he's doing he does an all right job on the international stage. He told leaders there could be no solution for the climate crisis without tackling inequality within and in between countries. That's interesting. How often have I heard Keir Starmer talk about inequality? It's almost as if he picked up that word from someone recently. I wonder who.
I personally have heard him say that word a fair bit, but yeah.
I think, yeah, also, but it's being picked up so much that he's probably going along with it as well, to be fair, as well. But I'm glad he mentioned it. And said that they should be inspired by Indigenous people who live more sustainably with nature. He finished with a reference to the Yangamali indigenous belief that the people of the forest who are helping to hold up the sky, and said he hoped this summit would help with the task of climate stabilization. The first day of the summit saw two other major announcements. Brazil formally unveiled its flagship COP30 initiative, the Tropical Forest Forever facility, with a new investment commitment of $3 billion from Norway over 10 years and unquantified promises of support from China. The facility aims to attract £25 billion of investment from governments and another £100 billion from financial markets to pay for the preservation of standing forests. Another breakthrough was a first global agreement to recognise and strengthen land tenure for Indigenous people and other traditional communities. More than 160 meter acres will be covered by the commitment up to 2030 there.
No, that's more than 160 million acres. Hectares.
Sorry, million acres, yeah.
300, nearly 400 million acres will be covered by the commitment. Fair enough.
No, that sounds really, really good.
This is what I want to hear.
I mean,
this is what I want to hear. Like this is exactly what I wanted to hear. Exactly. I do understand why people keep having a go at him, but this was perfect. That speech was perfect. That was exact messaging. Not only that, like, this is why I think it wasn't Starmer that wanted to get rid of Ed Miliband. I think it was McSweeney. And
wouldn't surprise
Starmer
me.
Starmer told McSweeney to go for himself. No, Ed's doing a good job. Leave him where he is.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know about that. I haven't heard like that McSweeney wants Ed Miliband gone. I haven't heard that, but I don't know what's said in the what's said behind closed doors. But I wouldn't be surprised if there was some truth to it as well. Jow says, so basically we're all being paid by the same groups that pay the current American government. Bush, a narrative on Iraq and other issues. And this is no conspiracy theory. It's just news that has always been in Europe. What's this about?
He's my little brother asked about Blair.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I just hope it becomes, more countries get back on it. I mean, again, it's down to getting the political will behind it, and let's hope that that it does, guys. Let's hope that it does. The next story we got for you guys is from The Independent, and I wish they would stop playing their goddamn videos. Unfortunately, it can't be helped. Apologies for the adverts, guys. This is the problem with The Independent, so I do apologize. Climate change is coming for some of our favorite vices. Top grades coffee and chocolate grown in regions in Western Europe, South America, and West Africa are under threat here.
Coffee.
I don't think any of us are surprised by this, but climate change is playing that impact. Yeah, coffee, guys. Imagine that. You wake up and you find out you can't have coffee anymore. Don't think anyone can will be able to go without coffee.
Someone needs to learn how to make a coffee plant that can work
there.
in different weathers. Coffee. Oh, are we still here?
We completely went there. My internet's dropped off like a cliff. Yeah, I completely lost you, and we all had to circle the screen and everything. Yeah, you know what? I think it might be. I think it might be because it's from the Independent. Give me 1 second, chat. I'm gonna see if I can get that article from MSN, because the screen. It's because of the adverts, guys, and I can't get round them. Yeah, Giles asking, are we there? Yeah, because we did drop off.
It usually takes.
Hold on a second, guys. Let me see if I can get it up in a second. I don't worry, Steve. I'll come to your super chat in a moment. Let me just sort this out. I haven't missed it. Don't worry. Where is it? That one.
And yes, I realised that everyone's getting a close face up, but it's so you guys can hear me.
Pause it. Yes, pause it. Don't play the video. Yeah, we'll just have to. Okay, we'll try from. Yeah, there was a second one that was supposed to be for the Independent as well, but I'm going to try and we'll have to try and get around that as well. Right. Hopefully this one will be better. Cross fingers anyway. Just before I carry on, I just want to say thank you, Steve McMahon. Good morning to you over in New Zealand. Thank you for the very generous 20 New Zealand dollars. Hope you are doing well. Very kind of you. Good evening to us, but it's good morning to you. It is a Friday morning for you. Hope you have a wonderful day, my friend. Thanks for popping in. Hope you're doing well. He says far right and populist parties around the world, like Reform, are talking about abandoning net zero policies and promoting fossil fuels. Indeed, they are. Yeah, they are. It's absolutely terrible. That kind of language is only hurting us, and it's going to hurt ordinary people. And people are just buying into the whole immigration, unfortunately, there. Hopefully, this is a lot better here, guys. So the headline from the Independent, but we're using MSN here, is climate change is coming for us and some of our very favourite vices here. So let me read a bit into this. Hopefully, we'll still be here as I'm talking. Some of our favourite vices may be gone for good in the coming decades due to the climate crisis. Researchers have warned this week. Wine, coffee, and chocolate, vital products in many economies, are increasingly threatened by the effects of human-caused climate change. And a new study shows that even an ambitious idea to curb heat, pumping gas into the sky in an attempt to cool the Earth's surface, won't be able to save them, Dr. Ariel Morrison from Colorado State University has said. I mean, I guess it depends, what it is and where it's growing and whatnot. And is there not the possibility of some of these things being built inside greenhouses? Like, possibility of some of this, can we not preserve it like that way as well? And does it all have to be?
I like Mr. Skelm's idea in the chat. Need CRISPR to modify that coffee and other food. Also, vertical farms using solar and wind, so locally grown, delivered. Yes.
Yeah, I think it's just the temperatures are going to rise either way. So we need to learn how we're going to be able to grow these without having to worry about the temperatures. My fear is obviously that where some of these products, where some of these are made in countries where they are heavily reliant on them in order for their economy, they're going to lose them because richer countries are going to build their own richer countries, or wealthier countries are going to be able to make them in their own countries instead. So the poorer countries aren't going to be able to make any money from them because they're not going to be able to grow them anymore. And I think that's a worrying thing that may happen down the line as well there.
It will affect the global economy on that front, and I suppose, fair enough.
Yeah. So, I said that, sorry, going mad today. Reducing temperature with stratospheric Stratospheric aerosol interjection, SAI, alone isn't enough, she explained in a statement. So, for instance, Casco species, while more tolerant of hot temperatures than coffee and grapes, are highly susceptible to pests and diseases caused by a combination of high temperatures, rainfall, and humidity. She added, the natural fluctuations in Earth's climate are also a factor that could lead to a wide range of unknown outcomes and further affect crops. SAI climate intervention may offer temporary relief from rising temperatures in some regions, but it is not a guaranteed fix for the challenges facing luxury crop farming, Morrison has said. Stratospheric aerosol interjection was first proposed in the 1970s by Russian climatologist Budikov. The method would mimic a volcano, shooting sulfur dioxide into the stratosphere, where it forms sunlight reflecting aerosolidized sulfurate particles. Yeah. Climate scientists are divided over the method's potential effectiveness. Recent research from the University of Colorado found that particles reflect the sunlight could indirectly make marine clouds brighter and more reflective as well here. So this is what they're...
On this one, it's the same effect as what they're looking at is sort of trying to get a beneficial outcome off of what you might see in, say, a volcanic winter. Or, for example, after the KPG extinction 66 million years ago, the Earth was blanketed by ash, and it cooled the Earth right down. It cooled it back down again. But then the Earth warmed up to the warmest it's ever been. This right now, by the way, is not the warmest the Earth has ever been. Like for life, like the warmest it's ever been for life that we know of was about 55 to 50 million years ago. The Paleogene thermal maximum. So we're not even like we're heating up fast. We're heating up for too fast.
Yeah.
Actually, the warmest life has been able to exist. I mean, and I will say, 55 million years ago, life wasn't all deserts because it was really hot. No, it was actually very, very lush and green for the most part.
Stephen Moore says the seas around New Zealand are warming faster than expected and currently are 34% warmer than usual. That's causing more and more extreme weather events and threatening the marine ecosystem. He also said we just had 3 storms in 8 days with winds of up to 257 kilometers, that's 160 miles per hour, caused by low pressure systems created by the warming oceans.
Steve's not too far away from being in New Zealand. It's not altogether that far away from the Southern Ocean either. Which, if that's warming up, with that warming up as well, I'm not surprised. Oh, wow.
3 storms in 8 days, Jesus. That's worrying. Hello, Roger Devine. Good to see you there as well. The harsh reality. I am struggling with these words, so I do apologize, guys. When the stratospheric aerosol in, I wish I just kept the initials in. The SAI was modeled over the top grape, coffee, and chocolate growing regions in Western Europe, South America, and West Africa between 2036 and 2045. The theoretical idea failed to consistently preserve conditions needed for the crops.
Yeah, basically, the computer model they're using is basically saying that it'll have some effect, but nowhere near enough and nowhere near far enough. It's just not enough. This idea, the computer model they're using is basically telling them that it's a good idea, but it's not enough.
Well, the strategy. Yeah, while the strategy lowered temperatures in climate simulations, only 6 of 18 analyzed regions showed a reliable improvement compared to a scenario without it, the new study noted. Says part of the reason comes down to precipitation. A warmer atmosphere holds more moisture, and through the cooling method could bring temperatures down. It may not reliably manage floods and humidity. More extreme rainfall and flooding events are already hurting the crops. Wine-making grapes are increasingly threatened by disease, droughts, floods, and wildfires, made more frequent and severe because of climate change. The grapes can become more acidic, discolored, and alcohol levels may increase. Coffee plants face similar threats with extreme weather, disrupting the time for the plants and flower to bear fruit, and bean quality degraded by high temperatures there. Stephen also says the Southern Ocean is warming and the Antarctic sea ice is reducing its size. Yep. The great danger is the melting of the permafrost. Yeah, that's something everyone's very concerned about. Yeah, we know. Yeah, we've touched on it here as well, and you're absolutely right that the shelf ice is definitely going away. I'm really very worrying indeed.
It's talking about the permafrost up in the north as well, and that's actually an even bigger danger.
Yeah. And cocoa beans been hit by droughts, affecting holidays in the US where chocolate sales typically spike. It's because of this uncertainty that Morrison says local communities should look at adaptations that are specific to them. Quote, adaptation strategies tailored to local conditions, investment in resilient agricultural practices and global cooperation are essential to saving these crops and the communities that depend on them, she said. Yeah.
So, we can't just use a blanket approach for this. It needs to be nuanced. As I keep saying, like this day and age is the death of nuance, but we need to bring it back because the solutions needed can't be across the board. Like some can be possibly, but most of it's going to need to be area specific. Like you can't use the same thing for a temperate region than you can for an arid region, for example. You need different, or for a highly rainforest region. So you need to tailor the solutions for the people and the area. Like you can't just go, oh, I have this great idea, let's do this everywhere. No.
Yeah, I mean, literally, it's funny actually you're saying that because it's a bit weird. It's a bit similar in comparison to politics. It's like just because Zoran Mandani was able to do what he did in New York doesn't necessarily mean it can work in another country. But what you can do is take ideas from it in the same way with ideas here when it comes to climate. We could take some ideas that some other scientists and other nations are using and adapt them to our own climates for our own necessities there. So it's just kind of trying to figure out the best way to do so. I think it's fair to say there. Who here thinks the average climate denier just dies? It's just to disagree with anything they regard it as woke lefty. It's because they get told by either fake people or paid think tankers who are where they say they are Dr. something, and they talk about how terrible the climate and whatnot it is and all that kind of stuff. Pagan, I don't know if you're there, but your screen has frozen. I don't know if you're still there with us. Oh, I can barely hear you.
I'm back. Am I here?
It's really bad from your end. There.
Whoa. Oh no, I'm back. It jumped and on.
Okay,
can you hear me okay?
I can hear you now. I can see you now. But it's obviously extremely fuzzy. But it's going to be coming in and out, unfortunately, guys.
I can just. I've got my laptop behind my phone. I can see what I look. Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's coming in and out. This is not going well, I'm afraid. Stupid people don't understand science and fall for propaganda, says Mr. Skim. Yeah, unfortunately so. You know, yeah, unfortunately so. But, you know, Michael Gove said we shouldn't listen to the experts. And look how well that did for us in the UK.
Of all the politicians, I said this a while back to some people like, and they were like, "Why do you hate Gove so much? Why Gove?" And I'm like, because Gove said that we should not trust experts.
Yep, that's right. So if you need to get your teeth done, guys, you should go see a mechanic, not a dentist, because you shouldn't listen to an expert. Is what it's basically saying there.
That would be the one that would tell you to go to the tactic people.
Yeah, you're definitely struggling right now, Pagan. I don't know what is going on. Like, it's really bad.
Need a new phone. My phone is fine. I don't need a new phone.
It's not the phone; it's the connection. It's the connection is the problem. I think it is because it keeps. There we go. I think you're finally there.
It should be back because it says I've got full signal.
Yeah, it's from my end. It's struggling. Yeah, I don't know if we'll be able to get to an hour and a half, but we'll try and cover a little bit more if it continues. Also, bear in mind, I just want to remind people, for those who've come in as well, that I am very, very tired because I donated a bag of blood today. So in case people are wondering why I'm yawning, that's perfectly justified for me to do that. So yeah, I gave a full bag today for the first time. So understandably so, I'm a little bit tired. So if I do this, it is because I'm yawning, but it's because I gave a lot of blood today, guys. So I just wanted to let the people who have come in know about that because not everyone is aware. Right, let's crack on, guys, cover as much as we possibly can here. So the next one is from the UK, guys, from Sky News. This one is that Britons are still buying EVs, heat pumps, and solar panels despite attacks on the green agenda. The fresh polling by YouGov, carried out exclusively for Sky News, finds that belief in and concerns about the man-made global warming remains as high as they did in their heyday in 2021 when the UK hosted the COP26 climate summit. This is great news.
This is what I was talking about in that first article.
Yeah.
As I referenced in this one. Like, if you were to just see the media, you'd think, oh, everyone's falling out of favor, like green energy, and that's falling out of favor. No, it isn't. Don't just listen to the mainstream media because they do lie to you all the fucking time.
Yeah, what I like about this is that even though there are climate skeptics out there are medias out there, influencers and whatnot, who are trying to dumb down climate to a certain extent. I would say the British public is very much, and this is obviously a proof of that, I'd say the British public is still very much in favour of climate change and wanting that. I think the other thing as well is that when you think about it, this also ties into the needs of where a lot of people do believe in climate change, agree that more needs to be done and whatnot. But they also don't see it as their top priority, of course, because the main priority is obviously cost of living, inequality, their lives being worse off. But it's about tying that to it, which is what Zach Polansky and the Green Party, I think, have been doing very well since he's taken over and tried to tie the two together in that if we go for more of this kind of green energy, these more heat pumps, EV, solar panels, all that kind of stuff will help bring down bills. At the moment, it's kind of hard to be convinced by it because we're still not seeing a freeze or a reduction in any of our bills right now. So
that's because our bills are directly linked to the international price for gas and oil.
Which is why we need to do something about that. The sooner that the government can do something about that, the better. Because as long as that is happening, the people on those on the right and whatnot will continue to emphasize the message that look at this transition, it's not working. Everyone's still paying more for their bills, and they will use that. That's what they're going to do. They're going to claim that this green transition is costing you more, when in actual fact, it's supposedly will bring it down.
By this, not like those people touting that crap are not being believed like they think they ought to be, because
No.
people just aren't believing them.
But some people are seeing them, and a lot of people, and the thing is also, it's not just a case of what people say online, it's also word to mouth as well. So a lot of people who have solar panels or electric cars and whatnot, there are positives and benefits to all, but there are people making that word to mouth conversation in how that they've made money. I mean, my parents are a prime example. They've got solar panels on their roof. My dad got a electric charger for his electric car. His biggest mistake was just not getting a battery for it, which he's got one now when he initially set it up. Because if he wished he had got it straight away and got it, even though it cost a lot of money. Because if he did, he would be able to save even more money in doing so. But he's got it now, so it's not going to be the end of the world there. But let's read a bit more into this, guys. Unfortunately, I can't play the video because they want to put a giant advert in front of me, guys, which is very, very annoying. Excuse me. Oh, God, I'm struggling for a second.
Do you want me to take this one?
You can do if you want. Yeah, if you can you read that all right?
I can read it. I've got it.
Okay, yeah, you do that because I'm still drinking plenty of water.
Uptake of electric vehicles, solar panels and heat pumps, and commitment to vegetarian diets remains strong, and in some cases is accelerating, even in the face of political attacks on climate policy, Sky News has found.
Just 1 second. Thank you, Steve, again for 10 New Zealand dollars. That's really generous of you. My apologies again. I'm not 100%. I'm sure you guys, I've just said, I've explained why. But yeah, thank you, Steve. I really appreciate that. Very generous super chats tonight. Thank you. Sorry, please continue.
All good. And fresh polling by YouGov carried out exclusively for Sky News also found out the belief and concern about man-made global warming remain as high as the heyday in 2021 when the UK hosted the COP26 climate summit. However, policies that come with cost or disruption appear to be shedding popularity in the polls, reflecting a split in Westminster about whether or not to sell net zero as the answer to or the reason for the cash scrap Britain's woes.
This is the thing that the Conservatives and Reform Russia are trying to do, is trying to pin that net zero as the problems for people's energy bills. And we know that the Conservatives, I still have this belief that the majority of the Conservatives are not climate skeptics. They actually believe in climate change. But the only reason they're going along with it is because their leader, Kemi Badenoch, has been paid by the lobbyists to go on board. And that's kind of why they've changed the transition for why they've changed their position. But it's also really bad as well, because at some point, obviously, it's really bad because at some point we're going to have a right wing government back in charge, whether it's Conservatives or whether it's Reform Russia. We're going to have one in, and they're going to be anti-climate. And the problem is the untold damage is going to be done on these green policies. And it really sucks that the Conservatives have done this, because even though we hate what the Conservatives have done in the last 15 years, my kind of hope was down in the future where, the Conservatives were a little bit different and didn't have the same people on the front face of it right now, that they wouldn't be at least climate skeptics, which they appear to be right now. I'm kind of hoping they'll come back out of this, and that that when Kemi gets the boot and if someone else comes in, that they don't commit to these climate skeptic nonsense, and they react. But I'm just kind of holding my breath on this. I
think they switched purely for oppositional reasons. They haven't got a platform. They're the last 5 years of Tory government proved they didn't actually have a platform apart from Brexit. So then they've been looking at a platform that is in direct opposition to Labour, the Lib Dems, the Greens. As they're at the end of their rope, basically, when it comes to having a platform. What is the Conservative platform right now? It's anti-migration and anti-green energy. That's about it.
The Conservative policy is whatever Reform Russia's policy are.
and sandwiches aren't real, apparently, according to Kenny Batten. And that's pretty much the same with Refot. With referee. Sorry.
Yeah.
Like it's because they needed that Brexit. This is why I will agree with anyone who says Brexit destroyed the Tories, because it did. It didn't just destroy our country; it actually destroyed the Tories when they wanted it to fix their party. So yeah. Anyway, so where was I? Yeah, Britain's woes. So worried that both the public and right-leaning parties were falling out of love with net zero, Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer dithered over whether or not to join leaders for climate talks in Brazil this year. Actually, I did a bit of reading on this. No, he didn't. He was having people saying to him, "Don't go." That's not the same as didn't. From what I gather, Starmer was always planning to go. He just had people going, "No, don't go, don't go." People care less, and obviously, as we saw in his speech, he doesn't think that.
This is probably my suspicion is that what's our deputy prime minister? What's the deputy prime minister's position on all this on COP? What's that name? Is it Phillipson, isn't it? Who's Labour's deputy?
Bridget,
is it Bridget? Sorry, which one? I can't remember which one of the two. But like, are they a Morgan McSweeney person?
No.
Right. So they should be more on board with what you would think they'd be more on board with what Keir Starmer and the green transition. You would hope.
Yeah. Again, this is one of the reasons. Why do you think all this talk about Ed Miliband getting kicked in the reshuffle? He was never getting kicked. It was because people the social conservatives within the Labour Party wanted him gone because they know that Starmer agrees with Ed Miliband.
Yeah.
And Ed Miliband actually has influence over Starmer when it comes to this. How do I know this? He is still in his position. And Starmer come out with the exact messaging that he should have at COP. So
where was you?
So yeah, we got.
I think you were here.
To join. Yeah, so he wasn't dithering at all. But anyway,
yeah,
he will today meet with President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva. And
we literally saw them. We literally saw them pictured together.
Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva. I got a bit. I do love Spanish, because Lula da Silva. I love that.
It does sound sound pretty cool. It does sound pretty cool. That's for sure.
So as much as insult Zhao, I would say that Portuguese also sounds like. Oh, hang on. It's Brazil, so it would be Portuguese anyway. What am I talking about? But yeah, 60 other leaders in the Amazonian city of Belém, ahead of the UN COP30 summit that begins on Monday. YouGov found that 65% of adults remain very or fairly worried about climate change and its effects. That's a clear majority.
Yeah, so we have here worries in Great Britain about climate change largely unchanged since 2021. This is a percentage of adult respondents weighed in Great Britain on their degrees of worry about climate change and its effects. And just for reference, the sources from YouGov Sky News. Most recent polling conducted online between the 22nd and 23rd of June 2025, with 2,228 adult respondents across the Great Britain there. So we have
look at the very worried line. Forget the top one. Look at the second one. It has been steadily rising ever since June 22.
So it's kind of like the ones that are in, but so it looks there like the 20 and 10% there. Obviously, they're not currently very worried or not currently worried at all. It's been kind of remained a bit steady. So it's not like it's gone down.
Yeah, the skepticism has not actually gone up by that.
So it's not. No, and obviously the don't knows, which I think is really important on when it comes to these as well, has kind of remained the same for the last year or so. Like they're not sure where their position is, but
yes, the very worried line is a continual upward trajectory.
Yeah, but fairly worried has dipped, and then there's obviously the very worried has gone up there.
I think the dip for fairly worried actually marries up with the very worried, because you see how it goes down and the very worried goes up around about the same slant. I reckon that's the case. That's the why that people who were fairly worried are now very worried. So this is a good, like, it's good. I mean, it's not good, but it's good to see that so many people are still worried about it.
It would be interesting to see the age numbers.
Yeah, I would like to see the breakdown. Yeah, that's good.
71% still think humans are to blame. For sure. So it says vast majority of all Britons still believe climate change is caused by human activity, but Richard Tice does not believe that. So I'll let you guys decide who to believe, a poll or Richard Tice. It's a percentage of adult respondents weighed in on Great Britain on their thoughts on the nature of climate change. Again, same conduct source here. So it says in green, climate change as a result of human activity. The blue is climate changing, but not because of human activity. And then there's the black one there where it's not changing, and then the grey is not sure there. So a majority of people pretty much saying, yes, it's because of human activity that the reason we are in this hole that we are in. The majority of Britons understand this. So while at times we do sometimes have a go at our own public because they're thinking of voting Reform Russia, they do also understand that climate change is a real thing and it is a problem and it's coming.
I think there's a poll back along that showed that even amongst referee voters, climate change is still a worry. So it's actually quite funny that referees have gone down this route, considering that a lot of their voters actually do believe man-made climate change is a thing.
Yeah, it's a massive gap there in terms of everyone else's positions. So they're this is why I'm not worried. This is why I'm not worried about climate skepticism in this country. This is why. Not right now, anyway. But that doesn't mean it can't change in the future. It can change in the future if we're not careful. In an interview ahead of, go on.
In an interview ahead of COP30, referee deputy leader Richard Tice, who previously said, fucking lies. Previously said man-made climate change was garbage, admitted humans have possibly paid a threat in a modest role. I like how he's changing the goalpost. That's fucking hilarious. So he was wrong. I really want to see an interview where he said this, because this was a journalist. So you were wrong then. Oh, I wasn't wrong. So why are you changing the goalpost then? Hilarious. But yeah.
He will just deny. He will just deny he said what he said, and just that's it. You know, it's like the scandal over the reform leaflets about them not cutting taxes. I don't know if you saw the video from Max, but I do recommend it. Yeah, because I gave him the information, and he was I knew he would. I didn't know if he would make a video out of it, but he did. So I'm very happy because it blatantly points out Reform Russia and their lies, which was very good. So.
Policies that don't require people to put their hands in their pockets also remain popular, like tree planting and taxing polluting companies. This is good.
Yep.
I mean, obviously, people are going to be a bit like about policies which are going to cost the average person as well. But we're in a cost of living crisis, so I'm not sure I'm going to pay as much attention to that.
So this one here is climate. Yeah, so this one here is climate policies seem to have a less direct personal cost remains popular. Percentage answered as strongly supported or tend to support to potential policies tackling climate change. But the 28th and 30th of September 2021 to the 22nd, 23rd of June 2025, the latest data here from Data Forensics here. So you've got between 2021 and 2025, 82 to 8% there. Taxes for companies producing substantial carbon emissions. 92 to 93% between 2021 and 2025 are planting more trees, which I don't think anyone has a problem with trees being planted at all. And then government subsidies to make homes more energy efficient. So coming out of the government's own coffers to help pay for subsidies, a strong percentage of that as well, to help people transition out of some of their emissions in some of their homes, like installations, solar panels, all that kind of stuff, guys.
On planting trees, I do have to say yet again, though, you can't just plant any trees anywhere. It has to be done properly, or you might actually like create more carbon where you think you're not. Like you're releasing. If you plant, say, in an upland moor, a lowland moor, you could quite easily release more in a few years whilst the tree is growing than it would actually save. So you have to plant the right trees in the right places as well. That has to be noted.
Yeah, we can't just take trees. Unfortunately, we can't just take the tropical trees from like the Bahamas and plant them here as much as we want to, guys. It doesn't work like that.
So, yeah. However, people are losing their appetite for measures that come with a cost or disruption, like banning new petrol or diesel cars and a shift to renewable energy as the cost of living bites.
Yeah, and this is understandable. So net zero policies are seen as making life more unaffordable, have largest drop in support since 2021. Percentages aren't so strongly support or tend to support to potential policies tackling climate change between the 28th to the 30th of September 2021 in comparison to 22nd to 23rd of June 2025 there. So we have first there on the left, the banning of production and sales of petrol and diesel cars going from 39% to 27%. This is before I go to the other two, it's like this is obviously entwined with like some petrol cars like old bangers and whatnot, which are really cheap cars, and that they can get them from A to B and it doesn't cost them as much. Whereas for some of them, they can't afford the electric car, or some of the subsidies doesn't suit to them, or they've had a car for a certain period that they don't want to switch over, that they're trying to be pushed towards switching over, and they're comfortable with the vehicle that they have as well. And sometimes even buying outright an electric car is very difficult to do so as well. And my dad, he's electric, and he's switched out his electric cars time and time again, rather than buying it. Like a subsidy program he's had for a couple of years, and then he switches out for another one because buying one outright just costs too much, or putting it on a loan and whatnot. Yeah, as it would do.
I reckon it's still, the prices are still coming down though. So, and to be honest, that graph I don't really care about. Do you know why? Because every time we've had to make progression, it pisses some people off. So you know what? We need to move ahead with it, whether or not it pisses some people off or not.
You're going to, no matter the one fundamental fact in government or as a politician, you are always going to. You cannot please everyone. You are always going to end up making decisions and saying things that is going to upset someone somewhere, everywhere. You can't please everyone. If you can please the majority, then you're doing all right. But you can't please everyone. You're never going to be able to please everyone. I think we can all agree that. Scott, good to see you there, as well as I think Ellie was lurking in the chat, and Mr. E, good to see you all. If I didn't say hello earlier. Sorry, what were you saying?
I just saw Elle was there. So hey, Elle.
Okay. And the other two was only allowing renewable energy to be produced. That's dipped from 64% to 51%. Well, I don't know what real mods. Yeah, it's still quite a high majority there. Limiting the amount of meat and dairy products that people can buy per week, 21% to 15%. This is that's going to be a bigger challenge there. Telling people to get off. That's going to be the bigger one. Trying to get people off meat and dairy products. Yeah.
Yeah, I have to admit, despite the fact I am an environmentalist, I'm not a vegetarian. I'm not planning to move to a vegetarian diet either. However, I do believe that we should lower the amount that we do eat to bring to bring that down, because I do actually believe that meat is part of a healthy balanced diet.
Well, it's also worth pointing out that there are Green Party members that aren't all vegans. They are environmentalists, but they aren't all vegans as well. They aren't, they aren't all non-meat or dairy products kind of people there. So I think that's quite. Just want to point that out there. I know, but obviously, the guy at the top is obviously, and probably people around to a certain extent. But I wouldn't say everyone in the Green Party is like that as well.
I love my bacon. Bacon is the god of food. Yeah, so Anthony Wiley, head of political research at YouGov, said several factors are likely at play. There will be something of a reversion to the norm after the publicity around COP26. There will also be the impact of the cost of living and the fading of elite political views, the rise of reform and the fading of Tory commitment to net zero. But Sky News has analysed the data of what people are doing and finds uptake remains strong, and in some cases, even accelerating. Hannah Ritchie, data science, is that Ritchie? Yeah, data scientist at Oxford University and Our World in Data, said it was easy to say that you care about climate change, but one of the key markers is whether people are actually willing to go out and take action. A record, 164,000 new battery and hybrid cars hit the road between January and March this year, the highest ever increase recorded for a single quarter.
That's fantastic. And here it is here, guys, the graph. First quarter of this year shows record high number of newly licensed EVs. The number of newly licensed battery, electric and plug-in hybrid vehicles added each quarter 4 to 2014 and quarter 2 to 2025 here. So we can see here, this is a source from the Department of Transport here, as well as data via the RAC here. So the last one, there's 152,000 for this year. And yeah, the first year, quarter one, 163,000 there. So if we actually look at, yeah, if you look at this, look, if you look at the end, yeah. What quarter was it when was it quarter two when we had the change in government?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's obviously going to take a while before it goes up, but at least we can say this, like at least in 2022 it jumped up quite a fair bit here as well from quarter three to quarter four in 2022. That's very significant there from under the Conservatives there.
Was Boris Johnson in favour of EVs? I actually think he was.
In 20, yeah, but at the time, 20, it was very, very low. But obviously, I think we're still just trying to get into it here. But yeah, there was a massive jump in 2020. So we went from 17,000 to a whopping 54,000 there. So that was in the third quarter in 2020. That was during the pandemic as well. And then the next big jump, I think, was in the 2021 quarter one there, when it jumped from 53,000 and it jumped up to 72,000 there. Of new licenses, and then we hit the next higher one in 2021 quarter four, 89,000. But here I think it was quite significant here. 2022 quarter three, 75,000, jumping up to 104,000, and it pretty much has remained above 100,000, over 100,000 since then, which is very very good.
It's funny, this is good. And not only that, but you remember how unpopular they were. You go back to what was that, 2018, 2017. Like, oh, I don't know. But the government starts putting its weight behind it. Look what happens.
I like this here. So from quarter, so I'm pretty sure it was quarter two, 2024 last year, wasn't it, when we had the change in government? But you can't say this was because of the you can't say this was because of Labour, because they only just came into power really. But another big jump here, another 30,000 to 140,000 there. Dipped slightly at the end of the year to 130,000, but then it jumped up even more. Why is it coloured in green? I'm just out of curiosity.
I think that's because it's that's the highest figure.
The highest figure they have at the moment.
I mean, the next one down isn't that much lower, so
no,
it just shows the trend is up.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. Oh, we got solar panels next.
Remember, newly installed solar panels and heat pumps were also near previous peaks for both the first two quarters of this year, albeit government subsidies for heat pumps are incentivizing the uptake.
Yeah, the incentivizing is a big thing here. So let me just read this before we say anything. So domestic solar panel installations have soared in the past 3 years. So new domestic solar panels deployment across the UK in megawatts, that's MW, from July 2010 to July 2025. So this is all the way back since 2010. From the looks of it, is what is here. The source from the Department of Energy, Security and Net Zero here. If we just scroll over it. So the latest one here is quarter two here in 2025 for solar panels, 189.1 there. And if we go all the way back to 20, and it goes far back to 2016 there, 73.8. So we had 2019, there was a massive drop. 2019.
The whole Tory, with the a lot too much of the too many people weren't bothered about that. Everyone's too concentrated on Brexit that year.
Well, to be fair, wasn't Brexit a conversation that was going on for a couple of years anyway before that?
With only two big peaks.
There must have been at this period, there must have been a change in the subsidies. Yeah. There might have been a change in the subsidies. That might have been something there that put people off. I'm probably sure if we looked it up, that there would have been a change in subsidies that what stopped people from purchasing domestic solar panels because there wasn't subsidies there. Perhaps I'm pretty sure the government reduced I'm pretty sure the Conservative government reduced subsidies for something, and I'm pretty sure might have been solar panels, and that was probably the point where they did it. But they did bring it. Yeah, but they did bring it back. They did bring it back, though. In 20, yeah, it took a while for it to come back up, though. What year was this? 2022, quarter two, quarter three, quarter four. Who was this under? 2022.
22. Oh, that would have. Hang on. What was that? Quarter two.
Quarter 2022.
Quarter
year
four.
2022. Rishi Sunak still?
Would that been Truss?
Liz Truss was only in for a few months. She wasn't in for that long, was she?
What month did
it might have been a bit of Boris Johnson and Liz Truss, but maybe Liz Truss didn't touch any of it. And then we had Rishi Sunak. So they just kind of kept calm and carried on, I suppose. And Rishi Sunak kind of left it as it was, I would say, for a little bit. And then it dipped again. So he hit a high peak here, quarter one at 2023. And then all of a sudden we dropped down again. Is this them again not investing, reducing the subsidies again? I'm assuming that's what it is here. Because I do think subsidies do play a part in it. But it's come, and when did it, 2020, was it quarter 2024 was when Labour came in here? Quarter three, quarter four. Yeah, so 2024 is when it's picked up again. It's picked up even more, 189. But the peak was 191, so it hasn't beaten that peak since 20...
I reckon it still might.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see in another year or two's time to see what the graph would be then. We also have here the number of new government subsidy heat pumps installed each year has grown since 2018. So this is the number of heat pump installations partially or fully funded by the government schemes, 2018 quarter one to 2025 quarter two here. So you have on the left there from 0 to 15,000. And then at the bottom from 2018 quarter one to 2025 quarter one here. And then we've got obviously really important points like when the pandemic lockdown began, domestic heat renewable incentive ends, and the home upgrade grant ends as well there. So these are all factors.
The reason why it dropped is because the grant ended. So Labour bringing in a new grant, they should be bringing in a new grant for it, which will push that back up again. It's part of their agenda for the green transition.
Right. Yeah. So understand. So yeah, when the renewable incentive ended, it dipped it off. Yeah, understandably so.
I think it's the same. I think that might be the case for the graph above as well. Then because you see, it's the same areas, right? Dropped back down again. So I think it's literally because the subsidies ended, and then they had to bring out a new and then they had to do it again. Why there was a massive short, as in narrow spike between 21 and 22? I don't know.
It might have been because that might have been around the time when people were told that they needed to. There might have been something from like Martin Lewis and other money saving experts and whatnot were encouraging people to get their heat pumps in. Like you need to do it now, sort of thing before the incentive ends. So this was basically at a time when a lot of people obviously didn't all have the heat Probably there wasn't enough heating and whatnot, and basically there was a lot of encouragement. There might have been a drive from the government to get people signed up as well, possibly. I'm going to say this. I'm going to take that as a giant pinch of salt because we're talking about the Conservatives here, but to try and get people signed up before it went, and then obviously as soon as it ended, it was just went off a cliff there. We have a bit more here.
Wow. Same proportion of people eating vegetarian diets has remained effectively the same over the past 5 years. Wow.
So this is a share of population not eating meat that has remained stable since 2019. This is the percentage of British adults by self-reporting dietary choices from July 2019 to 2025. This is those who are choosing to self-report as well. So I think that context really matters. Again, this is obviously with roughly 2,000 adults ago as well. Totals are not summed up to 100% due to some respondents selecting none of these, just for reference as well there. So just in curiosity there.
That's why YouGov is good. This is why YouGov is one of the best pollers, or the best poller.
So, yeah, there's not. So, in my opinion, with this, if you want to change this habit here, you need to make vegetarian, vegan kind of food. You need to make that food cheaper, and you need to make meat and fish. You need to swing the prices round. That's where you will incentivize more people to switch. Because if you do it with in terms of cost, you will encourage more people to change their diets, because they will change their diets in order to save themselves more money. That is one of the ways that you can change these positions. And until you do that, you can't. It's no good just telling people we need to eat less meat. You need to kind of push the incentive, and one of the ways to do that is doing it by controlling the prices, controlling the markets. And while the government can't control everything, they can initiate programs and whatnot to a certain extent to kind of push them in a direction that they would on this in a certain direction. And I think even the Greens would have some ideas about how to change this kind of topic as well, this graph as well, actually.
It wouldn't be a simple fix for me. People can try and tell me there are simple fixes for this topic. There are not.
Oh, there's no simple. No, I think in no way can we. There's no simple fix to this. But what the Labour government should be trying to do is trying to bridge the gap a little bit, like to start to make some progress towards an increase in some of these, and a decrease in meat, regular fish. Like to make some progress. I'm not saying we need to make a massive change, but we want to see some progress in this.
One change I have seen, and this did start starting under the Tories, but I've seen more of it since Labour coming, and that's more choice when it comes to vegetarian, like non-dairy options, I should say, or non-meat options. I have noted that. I mean, I usually only go to the co-op. I usually use the co-op.
Okay.
Like the variety when it comes to meat has gone down. Right? That's Brexit. I reckon that's purely on Brexit. However, I have actually noted more variation and more choices when it comes to non-meat foods. I don't know if anyone else in the UK has noticed this, but I have.
Well, I also think that, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't the government kind of tell supermarkets that they need to put more of that at the front of their shops anyway, didn't they? They put in plans and whatnot saying that they need to do this and less junk food at the front, didn't they? So that was kind of put through by the UK government. But again, I come back to this, like, it's all well and good putting it in front of people's faces. It's if the prices are still too much for people, that's where the government needs to try and do something to kind of, I don't know, maybe even incentivize supermarkets to make them more cheaper, like to try and incentivize them somehow in some way to do so. Then there needs to be more discussion about with supermarkets, with these businesses that create this food, and it's just like have discussions about brainstorming ideas of how can we encourage more people to do them, how can we do this, how can we bring the prices down without affecting our margins, sort of thing, in terms of profits and whatnot, because those are the kind of questions we need to they need to look at.
Do you know what? I actually think energy prices are going to be easier to bring down than food prices. Because the government would actually have to get involved in the market. That's high socialism. That's China level stuff. Yeah, I don't know.
To be fair, like this is only 2,000 adults as well. I mean, it's a very difficult one to read into as well. I think that one's a lot more.
If you can't bring down food prices, at least straight away, raise living wage, raise benefits. And do you know what? That's exactly what Labour did at the last fucking budget. My benefits went up. My UC disability benefit went up by enough for me to be able to actually get better food and not use the fucking food bank.
Yeah.
So Labour are actually doing some things to make food more available. By giving, if you can't bring down the food prices, then you probably will have to put more money into income. Doctor.
I'm going to take over because. I'm going to take over because of the time. I want to get to the last graph if we can. So Dr. Ritchie said there's been a huge shift in the feasibility, the accessibility and affordability to make these low carbon switches that people will have to make. That means that some people are buying clean technology for climate reasons, but others because they could save them money or they just prefer the technology. Trend is also playing out in the US, where Republican states have deployed far more wind power, whether due to geography, air pollution, or economics, despite being more climate skeptic than Democratic voters. Yeah, that's a nice little, even though they're not really shouting about it, they don't want Trump knowing that they're putting up wind farms, because if they do, Trump will he'll go apeshit at Republicans. How dare you put up a wind farm? Environmental psychologist Lorraine Whitmarsh from Bath University said, you don't have to be worried about climate change to see, particularly on the context of energy prices going up. That's actually because more energy self-sufficient is a really sensible, economically rational thing to do. However, the majority of Britons still have petrol or diesel cars, gas boilers, and no solar panels. And national advisors warn many will need help with upfront costs so that they can cash in on potential long-term savings. Yes. Yeah. Again, some people will not want to change their habits. You have to incentivize some people to change their habits rather than just kind of forcing them, because all you're going to do is piss them off and basically say, you made me pay for something X, Y, and Z. I'm not going to vote for you the next election because my bills have gone up because of your decisions, whether that person is for or against the green transition. I'm going to skip to the graph here just because of the time, guys. So this one here is concerns about the threat of climate change vary widely between the party supporters. This is percentage of respondents away describing themselves as very or fairly worried about climate change and its effects by parties voted for in the 2024 general election here. This is between 2028 adults. I don't think anyone should be surprised that the Greens are top here with 97%, because literally it's in the name, the Green Party here. It's interesting here that Lib Dems 82 and Labour 81. I don't maybe it's me, but I don't hear a lot about the environment from the Lib Dems. I hear more about social care and healthcare from them.
You will if you checked out Caroline Voden. When I've heard her speak in Parliament at PMQ, my MP, Lib Dem MP, Caroline Voden, has spoke up about the environment, climate change, and for joining the EU.
And the Conservatives there are low 57. I'm generally curious. What that percentage was a year or two ago. I bet that would have been a lot higher because they didn't rule out scrapping net zero, and I bet that dropped because of them scrapping net zero. And obviously reform. Why are 33% climate change?
I told you they would. I did say that a good portion of RefRu voters actually do believe in the climate crisis. It's insane.
Yeah, but they just don't realise their party doesn't believe in it or doesn't want to do anything about it. There. we will have to leave it there, guys, because we have come to the come over time there. But I really actually, this was definitely a good one to read. I thought this is very fascinating. Very fascinating for sure.
Bison. It's a short story, really short. But the bison, because we in this country do have free roaming bison, and the oldest one died. It's quite sad, actually. Hopefully though that matriarch had been leading a herd that was viable in terms of repopulating. So I mean, that's
we've run out of time for it, guys, but we'll just share it. Obviously, the link is in the description if you guys want to have a look. It's sadness as the UK's first free roaming bison has died. Tributes have been paid to the matriarch of the UK's only free roaming bison herd after she passed away at the age of 21. So among the first to roam freely for the country for thousands of years following her release in 2022 in Kent. There. So
blessed be.
Indeed.
A lot of people don't realise what we have on this island.
No, that's true. Yeah, there's still a lot of things we don't seem to know about there as well, guys. I just want to say a massive thank you to everyone who came along tonight. Thank you, Steve McMahon, for the very generous super chats tonight as well. Really appreciate you. Appreciate them. Very kind of you. My apologies if we had a bit of technical difficulties. Hopefully, One Angry Pagan will have them sorted next month. Next month, they won't be an issue next month. As for whether or not I'll be able to share the intro with you guys, well, I can't do it with the format we've got set up. I need to find another. Perhaps maybe I need to find another platform to do these live streams on, because I can't do it through OBS. I definitely can't do it through Discord. And this is I can do this because it's free, but there's only a limited amount of StreamYard can give me, unfortunately, as well. So if anyone has any other alternatives for me to give a try to see if I can do this, I will let me know, or send me. Don't let me know. Actually, drop me a link on Discord, and I'll give them a try. And then when Pagan has time, we'll see if we can have a fiddle about with it to see if we can get it. See if we can test it out for our own. And if we can find a free platform that can work for us, we'll go that way, guys. And I want to say a massive thank you to everyone who come along. Thank you guys for all your comments. Apologies we didn't get to all of them there. And apologies if I was yawning a few times, as I did say. I lost a lot of blood today, as you guys know. Donated a lot of blood today, so that's probably why as well. But I will be back live. Yeah. I will be back live tomorrow at 11 a.m. for another Good Morning show. I definitely will be for that. No afternoon, no evening live stream. I won't be in anybody's live streams, guys, because I'm off to a wrestling show tomorrow evening. And I'm also traveling to see my parents this weekend as well. So I've got a very busy couple of days as well. So, but I will get short videos out for you guys over the next couple of days as well. And the usual videos, the funny video and speaking my mind and good news, they're already done. They'll just come out on the Friday, Saturday, Sunday for you guys. So hopefully I will catch you guys tomorrow morning. One Angry Pagan, thank you very much for coming along, guys. Do check out One Angry Pagan's YouTube channel if you get a chance to. Link is in the description, youtube.com/One Angry Pagan. I know, have you been able to do any, just before we go, have you been able to do any live streams, or you're still working on it?
I'm still working on it. I'm hopefully, like I said, because of my laptop situation, it's a bit messed up. I'm going to try in the next few days to do some via my phone, because I've noticed that I've been able to do a couple of live streams on my phone. So, yeah,
okay.
I've also had an abscess. So whenever I thought, oh yeah, let's go around, and then I'll wake up the next day and I've got fucking abscess. So, yeah. At the moment, though, I feel good enough. So I'm going to try and get one either tomorrow, probably Saturday though. Okay. I'll probably do a lot. I might try and do a live stream on Saturday.
Yeah, first live stream I ever did was a proper test one, but it was like it was a bit weird one anyway. So So yeah, guys, thanks everyone for coming along. If you can, on your way out, please hit the like button, share this across social media, subscribe to both our channels if you haven't already, and again, do check out links in the description, both Pagans and mine's down below as well. And hope we can catch you all very, very soon. Take care and goodbye, everyone.